Hey everybody, here is yet another part system. This is a HP-Compaq DC5100MT. This is a business class computer. Got it for 20 bucks. 2.8 gig Pentium 4, 512 megabytes of memory in it. And this is one of the later models of this particular series. These computers were used by Charlotte Mecklenburg schools when I was in high school at Hopewell High School. That school was flooded full of these things. And at the time, during my senior year, they started to replace them with newer machines with AMD chips. They were small form factor machines. But for most of my time in high school, they had these computers. They had the older ones with the Socket 478 P4s, and they started to roll out more of these with the 775 platform, more capable. This one here is listed as Vista capable, so I'm going to be installing Vista Business on it since I have a license for Vista Business, seeing that it's a business oriented machine. Let's go and have a look inside. This system is really clean on the inside. I believe it was dusted out. Probably dusted out by Google Computer Works. They probably were about to install Windows on this thing, and something stopped them from doing it. Not sure what. Though this system does work. It has IDE based optical drives, and is intended to be used with SATA hard drives. And I have an 80 gig SATA hard drive I'll slap in this thing. And what's funny about these particular machines is, well, most of them anyway, not all of them actually had floppy disk drives. Some of them actually had just two faceplates here and didn't have anything. I never seen one with a card reader, but I will install a card reader on this, and if it has a spot on the motherboard for additional USB headers, which I'm not sure if it has. If it doesn't, I won't be able to install that. So I'll have to really look into that later on. But this machine has 4 DDR2 DIMM slots. Means you could probably put, depending on the age of this thing, it may support only 4 gigs. Then again, it might support 8. There's no really way to tell for sure, because this is one of the older 775 machines. It is based on DDR2, but it's probably only compatible with the Pentium 4 775 CPUs. I seriously doubt this thing would run a Core 2 Duo. Anyways, let's have a look here. Nice large heatsink fan. That was needed for the P4s because they run pretty warm. Got a 92mm exhaust fan. Same with these computers, they always ran cool. They never got really hot inside. And here's the power supply. It's actually an HP branded power supply, though it's manufactured by Lite-On. These particular HP computers remind me of the Compaq Deskpros that were out in the early 2000s. More or less like that computer right there, Compaq Deskpro EN. That was the older computer that pretty much resembles the HP Compaq business class machines. That being said, let's go continue what I was doing. So anyways, this is a 300 watt supply, I believe. Yeah, 300 watt supply with 19 amp 12 volt rail, 25 amp 5 volt rail, 18 amp 3.3 volt rail. And this particular system has the standard PS2 size power supply. The older HP-Compaq DC5100s actually had a power supply that was wider from top to bottom than a standard ATX size supply. So if I wanted to, I could take this supply out and use it in another machine, or I could replace this supply with, let's say if it failed, with another standard ATX power supply. But these power supplies here are built pretty well. They have large heat sinks inside of them. Pretty much typical light-on quality, and this is a passive PFC unit too. And of course that's not as good as active PFC, but that's still better than no PFC at all. I remember when I was in high school, one of these computers, it was exactly like this one, I believe. The power supply fan had locked up, and I had noticed it later on. Power supply just kept on working, but I did shut the thing off because I didn't want the power supply to burn up. But anyways, let's go ahead and plug this thing in and actually test it. Okay, got power plugged in. Let's go ahead and start it. These remind me, like I mentioned, these remind me so much of the old Compaq Deskpros. The BIOS setup utility is basically identical. When you press F10 to access the BIOS, which is the same key on the Deskpro Compaq, you get listed with some language options. Of course, English is default, and you get this setup utility. Now, on the older machines, it would say Compaq setup utility, but on these, it says Hewlett-Packard setup utility. And the BIOS, the way it's laid out is every tab has like a drop-down menu. For example, I'll hit System Information. It tells you some information about the machine. It tells you the CPU is installed, the processor speed, even the cache size, the stepping, the amount of memory installed, that kind of stuff. It gives you a good bit of information. It tells you about the BIOS. And of course, you'll set your date and time here. Let's see if that's correct. And it is. There's your boot options. Storage options, that kind of stuff. Not too many options in this BIOS. It's just your basic BIOS. It does give you some good system information though. Trust me, don't expect a whole lot out of a business machine in terms of its BIOS. Pretty much the same way as most OEM machines. It gives you some power management options. Yeah, this is your advanced tab. There's not a whole lot to it. This pretty much the basic set of options you a system BIOS needs to be functional. So I'll just say ignore changes and exit. Anyways, like I mentioned, I will actually be loading this up with 2 gigs of memory and putting Vista Business on here, and of course the 80 gig hard drive. Just make a basic run-of-the-mill business productivity machine. So anyways, there's yet another part system. Any questions or comments? Feel free to ask, and thanks for watching.